Very warm welcome again. And I know that guests are joining as I'm speaking. At Leadership at Humanity, we do quite a few things. We run programs, we run some initiatives, we support the society, we work with the communities. One of the things which we do at LEH is engaging some of the successful humans who have built a life based on values, living with purpose, and living with meaning. And when I envisioned dialogues about 4 years back, my idea was to create more positive role models or bring out a lot of positive humans out there whose life stories can inspire us to be like them. In the series of these dialogues, we have a very special guest today, Dr. Dev Sharma. I'll be introducing him soon. But before that, let me talk a little bit about LEH. Our journey started about 4 years back. This is a very special episode because we will be completing our 4 years on 1st of May. So before I go even further and talk about the dialogues and the programs we do, I want to offer my sincere gratitude to each one of you, those who are partnering with us as Change Partners, members of my own team, every individual or human who's taking time out to support and stand with us in these dialogue sessions, people who are part of our mentoring programs, and I know that we have some mentees and mentors on the program right now. Everyone who extended their belief, who extended their trust to us, and who gave us hope to continue living our dream. And my team and I cannot be thankful enough for your support and for your trust. So with that, let me talk a little bit about the dialogues and the programs. So our programs are basically more about focused on reigniting humanity in business leadership. So we run leadership journeys, we run customized interventions, and we run executive coaching programs for senior executives across the world. But actually, programs are just one part of what we do at LEH. To my mind, at the foundation of LEH is actually built or stands on our initiatives. And our initiatives include our mentoring program, our community support programs, and our LEH dialogues. I've been very consciously trying to broaden the reach of our dialogues, bring more diverse guests from across the world, unfold their life stories so that we can get inspired. And this particular episode is no different because today, not only I have a very, very inspiring human, and in a moment you would meet him and see him and will have a chance to interact with him, but someone who's a dear friend, and I think someone I've probably grown together with over the years. Our guest today is Dr. Dev Sharma. Dev is a story of inspiration, a story of courage, a story of values, a story of resilience. Dev and I met when I came out of my college, started my first job as an industrial relations officer in a tractor assembly unit in Parwanu, Himachal. I was there as a dreamy-eyed young boy, not knowing, by the way, what professional environment or world looks like, but had a lot of dreams and a lot of hopes. Dev was a very thoughtful shop floor colleague, a union leader who somehow I find a common connection with. And this was long, long time back. Since then, our ways have kind of intertwined. We stayed in touch with each other, we worked with each other, we grew with each other. And as I would say, he's inspired me to live a life in a particular way. In fact, in LEH, our mission, our vision, our values are influenced or inspired by humans like Dev. So I am delighted and very happy to present our guest today, Dr. Dev Sharma. The structure of the program would be like this. So next about 15 to 20 minutes, we'll have Dev share his life story with us. And then we will follow that up with questions. Of course, I love chatting with Dave whenever I get an opportunity. So I have my own list of questions. But more importantly, it's a conversation for all participants. So feel free to ask your questions. You can use the chat box, put your questions in the chat box. You can come off mute and ask your questions from Dave. So we want to make it a engaging conversational discussion, and then we will wrap it up and talk about the next dialogue. So that's how the session is set up. So without taking much of the screen time, I'm going to invite my friend, my inspiration, Dr. Dev Sharma.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Dev, very
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I would like to start by thanking the LEH team for inviting me to this session. LEH, the dialogue they do, the concept is very close to my heart. And from last few years, I have been following the significant work this team has been doing. It is a matter of honor for me to be part of this journey today. My special thanks to Atul for his generous appreciation and kind words he has spoken about me. Thank you, Atul. In next 15 minutes or so, I would like to be sharing my story with you. And thereafter, as Atul said, I'll be open for any question that you might have for me. So to tell you something about my story, about my life, I come from a very humble farming background, from a very small remote village in the hills of northern India. When I say very remote village, I truly mean it. Until I finished my schooling, we had no electricity, no road connectivity, and no tap water in our village. To give you a little more perspective, just to get basic groceries, my father used to walk on foot a distance of 50 to 20 kilometers. For us kids, waking up early in the morning, fetching drinking water from a distance of 2 kilometers down the hill, and in the afternoon, once we are back from the school, helping our parents in the fields, and again fetching water in the evening is something used to be pretty much a daily routine for us. To reach to our school itself, it used to take 4 to 5 kilometers away. It used to take a good amount of time for us in the morning. I still remember on rainy days, our teacher was sent us home because there was not enough shelter to accommodate all the children. But the good thing about all this, despite all these hardships, there was a joy in this simple living. Walking to school with friends, learning things together, playing games along while going, and that's like all these early lessons in the beginning. That was really a great fun. Of course, my childhood was having some challenges, but also beautiful in its own way. If you see on the slides in the pictures, this is the team which gives me all the strength. My loving wife Anjali and my two sons. My elder son Akshat is an HR professional, and my younger son Akarsh is a business management teacher based in Australia. These are some of the recent pictures from my village. Back those days, we didn't have any access to camera. I wish I could have captured the actual precious moment for you, which somehow we cannot do. I enjoy going to gym in the morning, doing my yoga, which keeps me young and fit. By the way, I also have a hobby to giving expert advice on others cooking. So this is a little bit about myself. Sophia, can we move to the next slide, please? Those of you who know me and with some of the people with whom I have worked closely, they can relate with some of the personality traits I have mentioned out here on this slide. I'm a person who prefers to maintain a very low profile. I have never been comfortable being in the spotlight. Right now, as in front of all of you, I'm a bit conscious. I'm a person who has always been very practical in my approach, open and transparent. I won't shy away sharing my vulnerabilities with the friends and the colleagues I work with. My son always tells me, and let me clarify, it's the elder son, because I know both of them may be on this call. My elder son always reminds me that I have the habit of giving unsolicited advice to people around me, which I do confess, but somehow it comes naturally to me and I still keep doing it. So that's a little bit about my personality, the way I am. Sophia? Uh, this is a pretty busy slide. If you can see some text on the top and then you can see a few pictures at the bottom. But each of these pictures relate to some or the other story. And I will discuss that with you in a couple of minutes. To share with you about my career journey has been something more like a cricket test match. Long, steady, and very patient. Definitely not like a T20 match. Over 40 years of career have worked only with these three companies, as you can see on the screen. I started my career at an early age, as Atul mentioned. I was 17-year-old then, as a shop floor worker in a tractor plant in northern part of our country. These were very challenging and testing time for me. First time I've seen what a factory looks like, operating in three different shifts, in morning shifts, in evening shift, and the night shift. Commuting to work always used to be on foot because there was no transport in those days. Living in a very small, tiny 10 by 10 room and sharing this room with three other fellow workers. We used to do all our cooking, cleaning, sleeping out of this small room. I still recall we had to fold one of the cots to make space for our cooking. Having experienced this for an year and a half or so, I realized that I wanted something more out of my life. And I started doing my part time studies along with my job. During that time, we had also formed a union in the plant, and I also became a union leader. Not only this, over time, I also started guiding people in the near by other industries beyond my factory. I became advisor to some unions. So juggling with factory work across the three shifts, doing my part-time studies along with job, and also this huge union responsibility, the work in my company and with outside unions was very demanding on me. But also while doing all these three things together, this also helped build my foundation in those days. I always tell that, the company's culture can transform people's lives who work in this company. Definitely did in my case. One of the plant leaders spotted me in this large factory crowd and started giving unasked, unsolicited advice and guidance to me. I don't know for what reasons. And I'm taking this liberty to share with you. This person was none other than our host for this session today, Mr. Atul Khosla. Atul used to guide me, he used to coach me. You can see also in the bottom a picture with Atul. Atul is in blue denim. That is our picture together. And I would love for all of you to ask this question to Atul. I'm equally curious. What made him to spot me in this huge factory crowd. There are thousands and thousands of workers in the factory, and he spotted me. So, what was that you saw in that? I'm referring to around 38 years old at that time that he was able to spot when started guiding, coaching me. And some of you who work in factories, you know that a person, Atul was an IR manager and I was a unit leader. There is always that tussle, the fight, the tough negotiation when you sit across the table with each other. We have been doing all that. But despite that, our relationship continued. That's something great about the way we have been living and working together. The biggest turning point came in my life, which changed the course of my life, when I took a big leap and decided to go for a full-time MBA course. Believe me, this was one of the toughest decisions in my life. How will you survive for 2 years? How will you do that MBA course without a job? Let me tell you, all my well-wisher, my friends were telling me, don't go for it because I was in a very secure job. That you have very secure job, you continue to keep working and you should not go for MBA. But somehow deep in my heart, I thought I want to go for it. And something very incredible happened. The leadership team of the plant decided to sponsor my MBA fees for 2 years. I don't know how many companies today, knowing fully well that I have left the job, I am no more working with them, they still decided to support, give this financial support me. I think these are some of the moments which touch your heart. This kind of gesture stays with you for lifelong. I hats off to that leadership team, that great company Aisher, for their culture, which they did this for me. After completing my MBA, I think Aisher was the second company in our campus. It used to be a dream company for anyone to work for, and today also it is a great company. I again got hired through a campus program by Aisher, but this time in a managerial role. I still remember the day I went to meet my mother and share this news with her in the village that I'm a manager now. Believe me, I can't express the pride in my mother's eyes. Becoming a manager in my village, rather in that entire area, what's such a big thing. I think I may be the first person. So that I can tell you that the way my mother was feeling, how thankful she was to the company, the way we have done this. So, and icing on the cake is that I was also entitled to a company owned scooter. That was something very great. So this was my journey with the Aisha for close to 2 decades. Thereafter, I worked for another two iconic companies, PepsiCo and Mondelēz International. I worked with PepsiCo for 14 years, and while working with the PepsiCo, I also completed my PhD in it. Then another, 10 years I worked with Mondelēz. So these are some of the picture. If you can see on the bottom, my picture with Atul, and the picture in red tie is the one the day I had met my mother, and you can see me on a scooter. That was a scooter which the company had given to me. So in all 22 years, have just worked for these three companies. Started with Aisher at the age of 17 as a worker, as a unit leader, ended with Mondelez as an HR director. So that has been my journey, career journey. Sophia? These are some of my, I want to share with you. Some of you may relate with this. These are some of my personal takeaways during all these years, and I thought I must share it with you. Some of you may relate with it. I always believe that to be successful, you need not to be superhuman. Being simple, genuinely human is enough. trust-based relationships will help you build your career as well as your character. That's what I have realized over these years. I think people talk a lot about leadership, and I have all been talking to my colleagues. My understanding of leadership does not come with very big title, how high you are in the hierarchy. It is about how you inspire people, how you motivate people, how you able to impact the lives of people around you. For me, that is my definition of leadership. One of the things which has helped me, that I have largely remained in the area of my strengths. Sometimes people get too much bogged down what we don't know, what we need to get. It's good to be aware of your limitations, but also you have a unique skill set. Also, it's good to leverage that and operate in that. At least in my case, that has helped me. One of the things that in this fast changing world, one of the things is how you stay relevant. The things which we learned yesterday, tomorrow it will be outdated. So that's what I say, that how we can keep reinventing ourselves, we keep recalibrating ourselves. That is what we should keep doing. And we should be nimble footed so that we stay on course. This is another thing which has helped me. I have always been sharing with people that, I am a big fan of reverse mentoring. I would always like to be closer to the people, the young minds, because there is new perspective, new thinking. Because I am a person who's risen from ranks, so always being with them, that reverse mentoring is something I love. And I always tell the leaders that the senior leaders in the organization can do a great service to themselves as well as to the younger generation by leveraging reverse mentoring and traditional mentoring both. This is my message which I always keep talking. The last one about career, you know, we all have careers. Somebody will have a 25, 30, in my case, about 40 years. There are no shortcuts to this long journey of your career. It requires sheer hard work and resilience over all these years. There will be ups and downs, but this your resilience will keep you going. Irrespective of the company you work for, be it an MNC company or a promoter driven company, a small or big company, your company can only provide you a platform, a stage. It is up to you how you perform, and your performance will decide about your growth. You might have a very good coach who's coaching you, who's telling you how to play, how to face a ball. I'm referring to cricket. But when you are there in the middle, it is up to you how you swing the bat. I think your coach can do that. As my takeaway is, take charge for your career. Be your own talent manager. That's what I feel about career. So these were some of my personal reflections over these years, and I thought I'll share with you. Sophia, these are some of the values which I have been following in my right from my childhood, and I won't take much time on this slide. But two values which are close to my heart. One is the walk the talk. I always say that as leaders, the way we carry ourselves in office or in field on factories, all eyes are on us. So the way we carry ourselves, the way we behave, it is an unsaid approval to people, a license for other also to operate in the same way. Hence, it is critical for all the leaders to walk the talk. Keep it simple. I learned this value very early on in my life. Keeping it simple is the biggest gift we can give to somebody. In this complex world, there are a lot of other complexity. If you can keep things simple, it's great. I think it could be a strength if we keep things simple. Could be a strength to an individual as well also to an organization. So this what I feel about these values. Yeah, this is my purpose. And about purpose, I would only like to say that our purpose is not fixed. Our purpose evolves over a period of time. The way we grow, when we learn new things, we encounter new challenges in our life. That's how our purpose evolves. But this is our purpose which keeps us going. Our purpose brings that personal or deep lasting happiness. Our purpose fuels that personal growth. So this is what I always feel about our purpose. Yeah. I think this is something I will just take a minute. What is next for me? All through my life, I have come across wonderful human beings who have supported me. I feel now it is time for me to share what I have learned and give back to the corporate world and also to the community I belong to. That's what I feel. I would also like to focus on few things which I had to sideline because of this, corporate life. So that was some of the things I will be working on beside this. Yeah. So, Sophia, toward the end, I would like to leave you with this quote. I think this quote relates to my story. And I'm also thankful to you for giving a patient listening, giving me this opportunity to share my story with you. And thereafter, I will be open in case you have any question for me. Yeah.
Fabulous. How to handle stress. Already we have some great questions and comments coming up. How inspirational, Dave. I mean, I've had multiple conversations, I don't know, over the years with you, and I think every time we get to chat, and today is a little more formal, by the way. We are sitting on a Zoom call, having this dialogue. But I think not only you provide inspiration, you also provide hope to me for sure, and I can't say for others, for sure for others too, by the way, because what you stand for, what you embody is who you are. And, the way you show up, the way you think, the way you process things, the way you have lived your life, I think is a huge inspiration. You are giving dreams to a lot of people who may have an idea, this is what I want to be, but don't know how to go all the way. You show up there. I already have questions coming up, one from my very dear friend who had a birthday yesterday. So I give him that gift back. Pawan, over to you for your your first question, because I was going to say a story, but then I realized it's your hand up. So Pawan, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Atul. And Dave, good to see you again. Thank you for sharing the story. I don't have a
Thank you.
question. I actually want to tell everyone that I was Dave's boss. And as Dave's boss, my job was to inspire him, to motivate him on a day-to-day basis. But I can tell you, we worked together, and every day I was blown away by Dave's simplicity, his depth of thinking, his solution orientation. And it was the other way around. He used to inspire me and motivate me every day. And this was a complex job. We had more than 20 factories with various unions. So, Dave, I just want to say you're an outstanding human being. You've inspired people, whoever you've touched, with everything that you've done on a day to day basis. So, thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank you,
Fabulous.
Pawan. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure working with you, Pawan. Thank you so much.
And they're coming from Pawan, it's huge. I mean, he lives a life full of meaning. So this is super special. So I want to share a little bit of a story and also answer your question, because you never asked me directly. I mean, today is the first time you bring it up in front of our friends. So you may or may not remember, but there was this day, Dave and I worked together, as he mentioned, in the same factory. There was an accident, a minor accident of one of our buses, which was carrying the employees back to their homes at about 2:30 in the afternoon. First shift was over. It was raining. And I was rushing because we got a phone call, there is an accident. I was rushing to this place on those of my friends in India would remember Yajdi motorbikes. So Aisha those days had these motorbikes that was a privilege to some of the people who could kind of borrow that. And I find Dave at the gate of the factory and he said, "Where are you heading to?" And I said, "I'm going to this place. There's a accident." He said, "Can I join you? Can you I come with you?" And of course you can. And then we were riding in this drizzle on this bike. And I started chatting with Dave and I asked him, "So what do you do?" And he said, "I'm doing correspondence, public administration masters." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know that." And then in our conversation, he mentioned that in my evenings, I teach or take tuitions for the children of our workers. And by the time it was a 20 minutes motorbike ride, but that 20 minutes really made me connect with Dave, who he was and what he stood for. And I was like, this guy works in 3 shifts, comes to the factory, allocates time for the union, does his masters, and teaches kids. How how cool you can be, to do all that in one life. You are kind of not only doing what you're doing, you're paying forward. And then from that day onwards, we started kind of connecting with each other. And yeah, that's so many years back and it stays till date. And that's the reason, Dave, I mean, we kind of seldom tell each other who we are and what we stand for. And we tell each other our titles, our roles, our companies. And that's where the connections happen. So when you find the values, you find what makes you drive, what makes you live your life, those things kind of start to bring humans together. I can have ton of questions, but I want to go to the dialogue box first because I see already some comments and questions. I'm going to call out some of those. Maybe Shalini, I'll start with you. I saw a comment from you for Dave on being your own talent manager. Do you want to come off mute and share your thoughts?
I just found, thanks, Atul. I just found that concept really interesting. I mean, talent manager as a concept is not something that exists in our industry, right? And here, yes, I hear where he's coming from, that if you don't take care of own your career, nobody else is going to. But more than that, I like the thought process of where it's coming from, of not putting it as somebody else's problem or blaming the organization of sorts. It was unsaid, but I just really felt that from him as a person. So while that said, I would really love some inputs on how does one go about being, I mean, one's own talent manager. What does it, I mean, clearly from what you said, 3 shifts plus giving back to community. I mean, clearly it's not 24 hours that he seems to have. But what do lesser mortals do to be their own talent manager?
Great question. So, Dev, how can you be your talent manager?
I think this is something, sometimes, we get carried what's happening around us, what's happening with others. Each one of us have our own personal story, our own journey. What is in my case, and how I have never competed with others. I always competed with myself. I set the milestone for myself that what I can do. And if you take in my case, I started that when I was there in the factory as a worker, that what I can do to change the course of, there was no kind of talent management other thing in those days. I became my own talent. I thought what can I do to change the situation for myself? And that's why I started studying that will change something for me one day. I wanted to bring something more to myself. Then I started getting into the union activity, how even that relationship will work for me. Tell you another thing. When I did PhD, I was in conversation with Pawan when I was in PepsiCo. I was planning something. What will I do when I get retired from this company? So I was not looking for somebody to do all those things. I was doing it myself. That how can I continue to equip myself? That is something which sometimes we get carried what's happening around, how somebody is growing, how is it. It is good to get inspired. but not to that. I need to see my own landscape. How can I do things for myself? That's what has helped me during all these years.
Fabulous. Very well said, Dave. And the whole idea of reinventing yourself. I mean, your story is of reinvention at every stage of your life. You challenged the status quo. You looked at what else is possible. I mean, doing your PhD, when you were successfully working in a large multinational organization, seeking out and reaching out to people. You mentioned about Pawan going and talking and having those conversations. I think that's a great insight, and I'm sure Shalini and others would benefit from that. I have a few questions, but I want to first go to Yulia. Yulia, welcome to the dialogue. You can go off mute and bring up your question for Dev.
Hello.
Hi, Yulia.
Hello.
First, I would like to thank you for sharing your very inspirational journey. And I would also like to ask a bit of a personal question. You have mentioned how you were considering taking a big risk, which is like leaving your full-time job for a full-time MBA. I'm still pretty young, but I'm also contemplating if I should take an MBA because my degree is a history degree, which doesn't have much to do with business. But I don't feel I have finance for it, and with it comes a lot of insecurity, and it's not like I have big savings. And of course, your case, it was great that the company rewarded you for all the dedication you have given them through years, and they sponsored it. But I think you cannot count on people being that generous. Like it can happen, but it also can not happen. So I wanted to ask, what do you think? How would you advise balancing this risk of taking an MBA to grow in the business world with having a regular job? Thank you so much.
I think yes. In my case, I was lucky enough that I got this support from somebody. One of the thing firstly, when we decided something that I want to do something, there is what at least in my case, what I have realized, I quote alchemist that when people see you doing some good things, the whole world will conspire to see that you achieve this, that they will come to your help. Genuine people will all. One of the thing that but I would reach out to people to seek their help, to seek their support. That is something which I will only do. And there have been people in my life. I still remember in during my MBA course, that was only the tuition part, but there was certain other finances for 2 years. I have made a note of each and every person who has supported me, even for a 1 cent. That is what I made a note of it. Look, I think in today's world, in those world, there is no concept of getting some financial help and their loans and other things. I think you have a lot of those opportunity. In those days, it is whatever you have to go with that. But today, I think there are many other organizations who will support your friends and other things. If one reaches out, I'm sure people will help. But in my case, I was lucky enough that my company also supported. But I would reach out to people, genuine people with genuine friends who want to support and help you. I'm sure you will get that support.
Thank you so much for the advice. I will keep it to heart and see if I can use it in my own life. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Absolutely. Thank
Yulia.
you.
Great question. So I see Atul Avasthi has raised his hand. Atul, please come off mute. You can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you, Atul. And it's such an inspiring story, and I get to listen and look more of incidents from someone who knows they very well. So, like you mentioned, life is like a test match, and you played it very well. But in life, it throws sometimes kinds throws bouncers, which you must have faced. But still, how to keep up to the plan which you have in mind? Like you have done masters, then took a PhD course at a particular age, which was something, and then now giving back to community in a certain way. So how to keep on that track when those bouncers you are getting?
Yeah. No, very good question, Atul. I think in my case, what I have been doing right from the beginning, I think first of all, when you are in a situation, and that's what I have done all through my life, that you accept the situation, own it up, And once we do that, sometime what happens, we keep intellectualizing or rationalizing the situation we are in. So once we have taken the ownership for a situation we are in, we will certainly find the way forward. Once we have understood that the situation or the challenge in front of us, I would do a very dispassionate analysis of that. What is in my control and what is not in my control. I would always focus only on the things which are there in my control. The rest I will leave to somebody up there. I believe in God that someone else will do. I will do things only which are there in my control. I will not do some overthinking which I cannot do. That's other thing. Second thing, that's what is true in my case, and some of the people with whom I work, they would be able to relate with. I don't shy away reaching out to people, seeking help. That because always you can come up with new thought, with new thinking about somebody and seeking that support. So these are some of the things which always help. At least I have been pretty lucky that I have got that support from the people I reached out to. Sometimes even we shy away sharing our problem, reaching out to somebody. That is was something, and I mentioned in the beginning that I don't shy away sharing my even vulnerability with people I work with or people I connect with. So that's my response to your question, Atul.
Thanks. That's going to be with me with for a long time. I would say, like to take care of the things which are your control and go for help if you need it. So thank you. The simplest answer, like we all know, but now it's going to stay with me. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Fabulous. You said kind of a very, very deep reflection in such a simple way, Dave, that we all stand on the shoulders of people who made a choice to lean into our lives, to put their stakes in our success, held our hands when we were stumbling. But many times people don't reach out. We don't reach out. And your earlier response to Shalini of being your own talent manager. So when you know that you only life in this world I control or I influence is my own life. I can be a role model to others, but only change I can do is mine. So once I take charge of my life, I'm not afraid of reaching out to people, and you'll be surprised how many people actually lean in to help. So also Atul, for you, just reinforcing what they've said, once you're clear what you want, then lean in and reach out to people you think who could be of help to you. So a lot more questions coming up, and I'm now worried my questions will be unaddressed there, but I'll give priority to our audience. So I think I want to first go with a question which came from Yojana. Yojana has joined us on LinkedIn Live, so I don't know whether she can directly participate, but she's for sure hearing what you will say. So, Georgina is saying, Dave, you mentioned about reverse mentoring. She would like to hear about few examples from you of reverse mentoring.
I think I, and by the way, Yojana was one of them. She should, yeah. When we work with younger professionals, with younger people, with us, sometimes we don't reach as leaders. Sometimes we get carried with our titles. So we don't open up, we don't share. In my case, I've been very transparent, and open with the people I've been working. Every time in my team, there are only one or two very young talent with whom I will be interacting. Well, could be a lot of learning from us through our experience, the way we are managing team. But the kind of concept, the thinking, the perspective which comes them, that is very, very heartening. And we may be keeping pace with the learning, but still the speed with which things are happening around, this younger generation is much, much faster. Their pickup, the way they show up is very, very different. So that's what it has helped me whenever we are making a PPT. I'm just sharing this example. We are doing some brainstorming. You are having these people, even the way these people look at career, something very different. So all these things have really helped me. I'm very, very closely with these people. And by the way, Yojana was one of the colleague with whom I worked, and she has been she and me. We have worked together.
Fabulous. Great, a great question, Yojana, and so nice to see that you are on the dialogue and they've great answer. Now, Shalini has a follow-up question to that of Yulia, which is an interesting question. I think you addressed it partially, but I'd like Shalini to come off mute and talk about that question. Shalini, over to you.
Thanks, Atul. I'm on the road. I'm not sure if it'll be very audible, but I'll try my best. So, David mentioned, right, to Yulia about being willing to ask for help. So that part, I think, how does one really go about it? I mean, it's easy to really say, okay, anyway, the answer is no, there's no harm asking. But I think the hesitance, one, there is an internal struggle. Two, it's also about who's a genuine well-wisher who would actually make the effort. I mean, Dave seems to have been lucky in that sense as well. So how does one draw the balance? Any tips on how do you go about doing things? I think it'll be helpful not just for me, but also for a huge lot of people who are watching this on YouTube, etc. as well.
No, thank you for asking that question, Shalini. I think that is which I talked about, the value of trust-based relationships. That's what I talked even in the beginning also. That's how we know who are the people we need to connect with right from the beginning. And I'm sure there are few people in our lives. We need to think back and see who are those people, who are our genuine connection, with whom we can relate, the people with whom we can open our heart. I know, I agree with you. We cannot do with everyone, with all the people on the Facebook or on the LinkedIn, the connect we have. These are people who are genuinely in connect with you, and people with whom you have that trust-based relationship. This is something that I would, each one of us need to kind of find out that who are those genuine connection and the struggle within our mind that, whether I should approach and not. That is what I say. That is that's I always suggest that we need to very kind of true to ourselves, that if we are genuinely, then maybe that should not playing on our mind, that whether I should approach or not. I will be very transparent. I will be very open when asking for feedback. That is something, the struggle which we need to settle with ourselves. And after that, I'm sure the people who see genuineness in your case will go out of the way to support you. Out of the way to support you.
Well said. Well said. Shalini, did you get it? Did you hear?
Yes, very much. Thanks a ton. I really get where you're coming from.
Fabulous. All right. So, Dave, I'll go on to. I see Casey has a question. Krishna, great to see you on the call. Thanks for joining the dialogue. Do you want to come off mute and ask your question to Dave directly? Casey, are you there? Okay, so I'll bring his question to you, Dave. This is Krishna Chaitanya. He's saying, what there always clear career choices before you, and or you had career move dilemmas. How would you evaluate them?
The question is that, hello?
Yeah. Can I, by the way, request everyone to go on mute so we can hear Dave clearly? Dave, yes, please.
Yeah. Atul, could you repeat the question, because there was some I could not.
Sure, I will repeat the question. So Casey says he's not able to come off mute, so I'm repeating his question. Were there always clear career choices before you, or you had some dilemmas? And how would you accept that?
Yeah, no, they were never a very, very clear-cut choices, and that's true about life. The things, I think in my case, I have been taking the way things have been coming my way. I've never been that, at perfect picture clear that, okay, these three things will get me this. I was not that calculative. But I'm a person that I was kind of reasonable with the timing, with the thinking, with my aspirations. Sometimes we need to be reasonable. We should not get carried what's happening, the noise around us. But no, I would say that I had never had very clear-cut choices, but I keep my eyes and ears open. I kept reinventing, recalibrating myself, which gives me some kind of hints that what I should be doing next. Being little futuristic is always good. As I mentioned, when I started doing my studies and other things, these things helped me. And whenever you are in a dilemma, of course, dilemma it happens with everybody. Whenever there is a dilemma, reach out to the people, connect with people, the people who you trust. Even then you'll get the answer. But I think being realistic, even with your aspiration, I think is also, I know, one of the things which helps you.
Well said there. Very well said. Casey, I hope you got your answer. And I have a question from Rajat. Rajat, our newest team member in LEH. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you, Atul. Hi, Dev. You know, like I would say to everyone that I was blessed to start my career with Dev and really learn very, very great things. And I always found one thing, Dev, in you, that you always had a very calm demeanor, always. And even today, you're so calm while I know what will be your pulse rate because you say you are not a public speaker. But how do you do it? I'm simply amazed and just want to know this.
Right? Good question. That's what people have been telling me all across that I'm very cool and this thing. Actually, I'm not. But if whatever is coming my way, I take it lightly. I take just observe that information and many times because every time you may not be in control of everything what's happening around you. Something let it go. Things will take its own course. That's what I have. Sometimes in inform situation or a kind of message coming to two or three of us, I go, okay, we will handle it. We will see what we need to do. Sometimes when we react without actually analyzing the thing, it troubles. But in my case, I have been kind of staying with that information, what comes my way, taking my time. It happens many times somebody is asking a question or something to you, even I don't have an answer. One of the things is good listening skills really help you. When you listen something, even you start getting some of the answer of the things. Where listening skill is something which is widely taught and very rarely practiced. That also helps when we are diagnosing these kind of a situations. So, Rajat, I think I sometimes let things go, and I will handle is when it comes to me. But what worst can happen? You can, if you look into that, then you get the answer that okay, we can stay cool. Well, within myself, within my heart, I may not be very cool, but because I pretend that I'm cool.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Very, very, very nice. Thank you.
Amazing.
Let go is the key. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Fabulous. I mean, Dave, we can go on and on. I have a little bit of a regret. I couldn't bring up my questions, so I think I'm going to ask Sophia to find me and Dave sometime that we can chat. And I was kind of looking forward to this dialogue that a lot of things, we never discuss, I've never go this deep. I thought this would be an opportunity, but jokes apart, we continue to engage and talk. I can't tell you how inspirational this conversation was for me and for all participants there. Your story, living a life full of meaning, challenging yourself. I mentioned earlier, reinventing yourself from time to time, looking at possibilities, not problems, looking at opportunities, not limitations. I think the answers are simple and deep. So, and there's a lot of practice which you do every day in life, which makes you who you are. So, thanks for inspiring our audience. Thanks for joining us today. For our audience, if you want to know about our dialogues, other programs, follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram, and you will know what is going on in the life of LEH. This recording of the conversation today will be made available on our YouTube channel. You can watch it at your convenience. Share with others. If you got inspired today by Dave's story, there are many more inspirational guests who are there on our programs. Share with them so that they can get benefit out of this. Um, I will very quickly introduce our next guest, which is who's going to be Lisa Ablochon. Again, someone I have deep respect for. I've worked very closely with Lisa. She is the Chief Human Resources Officer of Universal Robina Corporation. She'll be our next guest in June. So make sure you sign up for it. You share with people who you think could benefit from these dialogues and join us. And you can take the slide off, Sophia. From me and my team, a sincere, heartfelt thanks to you. As I said earlier, we complete our 4 years on 1st of May. I feel a deep sense of gratitude to every single person who's been very, very supportive and standing by us and supporting us. So really, really appreciate. Can you hear Atul's question before finishing? Yulia, I'll make sure I'll share with you when I get a chance to discuss with Dev. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. A deep, deep gratitude to all of you for supporting us and standing by us. Dave, thanks again. It was such an inspirational conversation. Thanks all.
Thank you so much.
Have a
Thank you.
lovely evening, afternoon, day, wherever you are in the world. Thanks a lot.